I think the last time I answered this question, I gave you three, and I'm still in. I'm not able to choose between them. So the three, the three would be nettle, eel, and deer. Nettles, I mean, I probably get emotional even thinking about them. Just their ability to grow in disturbed soils, the connection to my ancestors that they give me, the nourishment that they give me, the home that they offer to so many creatures. Yeah, they're just magic and are often like this gateway plant into connection. Eel, because eels are just queer magicians. They're incredible. They like make this transatlantic journey twice in their lifetime. They shapeshift into many different forms. They have two hearts. My ancestors were eel fishers. They lived their whole life without gender. It's only decided at the very end of their life, and we still don't know where they come from, really. We have ideas, but they're like this mega mystery of the world. And deer, I spend a lot of time with deer in life and in death. I track them and trail them and work with their bodies and eat them and wear their skins and yeah, make beauty from their bodies. So they're a massive mentor for me and have brought me into such incredible connection with fellow two-leggeds as well as other four-leggeds. So yeah, very grateful to the deer. The first thing that comes to my mind, I'll just go with it, is a childhood memory of. Can you hear my dog barking? No.
Yeah, but it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, it's just this hazel tree that I would often find. It was on this land that I would visit a lot, and it was surrounded by a fairy fort. So it's like a raised mound of earth where the fairies live. And my mum had shown me this hazel tree before, and I would often go out onto that land by myself, and I wouldn't always be able to find the tree again. So it was really, really special if I did find the tree, because it was like that other world was opening itself to me. So yeah, anytime I find that tree and that fairy fort was always, yeah, really, really special. My first kind of engagement with the land was through foraging, I believe, and that is really the act of going out and knowing that every plant, every tree, every mushroom, every seaweed, every lichen, like everything holds medicine in many different ways. So, like learning how to identify those things, learning how to come into relationship with those beings, learning how to harvest them in ways that will stimulate more growth or provide more space for other plants to grow as well. And then how that can nourish us on many different levels, you know. So it's not just the act of like using it as medicine or using it as food, but you know, that act of going out, like the ancestral muscle memory that we engage when we're bending over, shuffling, like, you know, to pick these plants or to harvest these seaweeds, as well as like the nourishment of being, you know, in that kind of having that experience of being a part of the web. And I suppose, you know, we're tracking all of the time. When whatever it might be, we're tracking each other's facial expressions. We're tracking, you know, the movement of the cars through the city. We're tracking, like we've been tracking from a very young age as children. How do we learn like the cultural norms? How do we, you know, be in this world? So we are born trackers and we are born foragers, and all of our ancestors did those things, and we are the result of many successful trackers and foragers. Both of these practices, I would call them, you know, my practices of belonging. So how I belong myself again and again and again to the place that I live, and introduce myself again and again and again to the place that I live in. Um, and you know, tracking is, it's kind of a practice that it's not as well known as foraging. Foraging is kind of this very hip trendy thing to do now, but tracking is really coming to learn about the behaviors, the movements of the animals across the land. And the stories that they leave for us through tracks and signs like poop or feathers or fur or beds or whatever it might be, however it is that they're leading their life. And for me, it's like a really beautiful practice of just like decentering the human narrative, and like developing empathy across species. So I can, be out walking and see that otter has been here too, and this is how otter was moving, and that's where they went to, and here's some fish that they ate, and here's the scat that they left, and what was their life that day. So it's really like one of the oldest forms of storytelling, of just like reading these stories and then coming back around the fire to share them. So yeah, both extremely nourishing practices that I love to share with people because I find that they're both just really accessible wherever you are in the world. Like in the urban spaces, there's so much. There's often this thought that like nature stops at the city, but actually there's so much in the cracks, in the alleys, in the so-called wastelands, or yeah, all of these beings find a way to thrive there too. So my happy place in nature changes according to the season. But the happy place that I'm so excited about now is standing out on the rocks with my creel, which is a type of basket, and my skein, my knife, and harvesting seaweed while the Atlantic waves are just crashing all around, and there are curlews and oyster catchers calling, and yeah, just like tasting that first taste of pepper dulse. Yeah, that's like for this coming season of the low tides and the full moons. That will be my happy place. That is where I will be.